Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, the Las Vegas Raiders have secured a top 2 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. If you ain't excited about that, check your pulse, hit that like button, because today I'm going to be breaking down the top players on offense, the top players on defense that the Silver and Black should target. I want to be very clear. These players are not ranked. But if you're the Silver and Black and you got that top 2 pick, there are only a handful, and I mean a handful of players that you can even consider taking in the top 2 picks. I don't know if y'all knew this or not. I kind of talked about it a little bit today on a short that I released, but the Raiders have that top 2 pick locked no matter what. If the Raiders end up losing to the Chiefs, they have the number 1 pick. If the Raiders beat the Chiefs and the Giants lose, here's the cool part. The Raiders can still have the number 1 overall pick. You're wondering to yourself, how much is that possible? Well, here it is. The Raiders need 3 out of these 4 games that you see down below, and that's how you still have the number 1 pick. If the 49ers beat the Seahawks, if the Bengals beat the Browns, if the Saints beat the Falcons, if the Lions beat the Bears. So all you got to do is pick 3 out of those games there, and if 3 out of the 4 hit, we can beat Kansas City. The Giants can end up losing to the Cowboys, and we still got the number 1 overall pick. If you're not already subscribed to the Raiders Report, take 2 seconds. It's 100% free. Click that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, because we've dealt with a tough season. You know it. I know it. And we're going to start doing a lot more draft content here on this channel out there. I want y'all to know what I'm thinking, who I want the Raiders to target, because we've done a lot better job on this show in the offseason than the actual Raiders have. So if you feel like you've been smarter than this Raiders organization, subscribe, join the community. As we are entering NFL Week 18, feels great, man. We got one more flipping week to go, and then I don't got to have to deal with this team anymore. We get to look forward to the offseason. But the Raiders, 2-14, look at that strength of schedule. 0.542. What I want you to look at is the Jets, because before the Monday night game between the Falcons and the Rams, it was 0.548. Now we're sitting there at 0.550. So we're in the driver's seat in order for us to end up getting that number 1 pick, but no matter what, we have a top 2 pick in the NFL draft, which I'm feeling really, really good about. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about here on today's show is, again, I'm going to be going through some players on offense. I'm going to be going through some players on defense, because I really think there's only a handful of guys that the Raiders could target. Before we get into those Raiders draft targets, a quick word from our sponsor, PolyMarket. It's time to challenge the status quo. PolyMarket is now live to help you do so. You can be part of the revolutionary alternative to Sportsbook with our special invite code. Download PolyMarket's new app now via the link in the description and comments to unlock exclusive early access and a free $10 in your account with the invite code chat. PolyMarket is a prediction marketplace and lets you make trades on the outcomes of sporting events. As you can see right over here on screen, you can even buy and sell within a game with live trading. PolyMarket has the lowest fees ever. You can trade against other people, not the platform. You can cash out anytime and react to momentum swings within the game. You are in control. It's legal and available nationwide in all 50 states on their iOS app now. For this week's Raiders game, PolyMarket is giving Las Vegas a 30% chance to win. That makes sense. The Raiders have lost 10 straight games and currently have the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. $10 free is waiting for you. No card, no deposit, nothing. Download the app with our exclusive code CHAT at chatsports.com/PolyMarket for exclusive early access and $10 free. Let's start with the offensive side of the football, because when you have the top pick, everybody talks quarterback, especially when the quarterbacks the Raiders have been dealing with over the past few seasons. To me, though, if you're at number 1, if you're at number 2, there are only 2 players on the offensive side of the football that you can consider drafting. The first name I'm going to bring up, Oregon quarterback Dante Moore. Here's the thing. He might end up returning back to college. I'll admit, it would be really hard for him to turn down a number 1 overall opportunity, a number 2 overall opportunity. And with the scarcity at quarterbacks, you know, there might be a lot of people looking at Moore. The reason why I'm rooting for Oregon to win the national championship is because I want Dante Moore to come out this year. He is a pure passer. You can tell how quickly he's able to process in the game. The quick release, Tom Brady's going to love that. He's got good enough athletic ability. Like if you watch a guy like Brock Purdy, you're not going to go, wow, that athletic ability jumps off the chart. But he's good enough, he's smart enough to kind of manipulate people to do what he wants and then deliver the football. Very mentally tough quarterback. Never really fazed with the moment, and he has shown improvement. We got to be able to face the facts. Playing for Raiders fans, it's tough. Playing for this organization, it's tough. And you saw a quarterback like Geno Smith honestly break mentally as that season carried on. I don't think Dante Moore is a mentally weak quarterback, and he's somebody that shows growth. One of the most important qualities you can show in a quarterback is the ability to be a sponge, the ability to grow. And when you have somebody like Tom Brady in your corner, I don't know how Dante Moore won't want to be paired up with Mr. Brady. Here's the other option that the Raiders could go with. Heisman Trophy winner, and I believe the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, whether it's the Raiders or whether it's another team. But I believe that he can make every throw on a football field. I love the accuracy on all of the different levels. When I watch Fernando Mendoza play, kind of reminds me of a pitcher that throws like 97 miles an hour, which maybe is not all that fast in today's day and age, but maybe it's like 96. But he can spot really well. He can mix a curveball, a sweeper, a sinker. He can throw a bunch of different things. When I was really excited watching Mendoza tape, it was his ability to throw the 10-yard, the 20-yard, 30-yard, 40-yard, and layer a lot of those throws. That's not an easy thing for a guy to be able to do with the talent that Indiana has. I'm not saying that Indiana's got bad talent, but when you really compare the Indiana roster, I think, to a lot of these other teams that are in the college football playoffs, there's one thing that stands out. Mendoza's doing a hell of a job carrying that team. Guy's got ice in his veins. Even in games where he's not playing the best brand of his football, when it's the biggest moments, you're in that final 2 minutes, everybody's looking at him in that huddle, he gets the most out of people. And for the Raiders, let's face it, we got a lot of holes on this roster. A lot of holes. We need a quarterback that makes the other 21 guys better, the other 52 guys on our roster better, and that's what Mendoza does. The reason why I have Mendoza ranked slightly higher than Dante Moore is because of the fit. Look at the offense the Raiders have. We're going to be able to build an offensive line in the offseason, and I think anybody that doesn't think so, I feel bad for you, because if we don't build an offensive line this offseason, probably means we kept Pete Carroll and Brandon Carroll. It's that easy with the amount of money that we have, with the amount of resources we have to build an O-line. But you put a quarterback like Mendoza with a running back like Ashton Genty and a tight end like Brock Bowers, you're building block players. I think that offense is easier for Mendoza to join than it is somebody along the lines of Dante Moore. So I'm going to ask you all this question here. Pick a quarterback for me. If you're going to go Mendoza, type FM. If you're going to go Dante Moore, slide in the DMs. Let me know down below. For me, I'm going to sit up here and again, I'm going with Fernando Mendoza, but I want to be very clear. If you like Fernando Mendoza, you should like Dante Moore. If you like Dante Moore, you should like Fernando Mendoza. I don't believe any quarterback has a very high upside, but I do think that both of these quarterbacks have a safe floor. And maybe that's the best thing for this Raiders organization. Let's go to the defensive side of the football because, yes, I understand the Raiders need other offensive line help, but there's not another O-lineman. The kid from Utah, Fano, the kid from Miami, again, very talented players, but they're not going to be somebody you draft in the top 2 picks. If you're going to be the Raiders, it's smart to build your O-line in free agency. So let's go to the defensive side of the football because, again, I am team take a quarterback, or I'll tell you another option here in a moment. But if you're the Raiders and you want to go defense, I don't know, maybe out of the quarterback in free agency or a trade, you can look at Rueben Bain Jr., projected top 10 pick. I think he's a projected top 5 pick. And some say he's the best edge in this class, and if he plays the way that he did up against Texas A&M, hell, he's going to be making an argument to be drafted in the top 3. 50 hurries, only 4.5 sacks, which I do think scares some people, but the tape shows how elite he can be. He has strong hands, dude. Like when he hits people in the chest, it almost looks like that guy that knocked out Jake Paul breaking jaws. Very, very strong hands. High motor. You give me a high motor player to put with Max Crosby with elite athletic ability, it's there. But the Texas A&M tape, if you haven't seen it, there's going to be coaches that go, that kid could be the number 1 overall pick. Because when you turn on the tape against Texas A&M and you see the 4 tackles for loss, you see the 3.5 sacks, you see the 5 total tackles, the blocked field goal, what he showed in that game was truly, truly elite talent. So don't get scared by the 4.5 sacks. Elite player. But I still think we got to look at quarterback. Let's go to the other defensive player here that if you're the Raiders and you want to consider, you can consider Arvell Reese, who again to me is a projected top 10 pick. I believe he's going to be in the top 5. He reminds me a lot of Micah Parsons. And I say that because I remember doing a show a few years ago. I was with Sanjeet, shout out to him, and I said the way that you need to play Micah Parsons is you got to put him in as an edge rusher. Don't let him be a middle linebacker. Don't let him play linebacker like he did at Penn State. Same exact thing here for Reese. He's that hybrid. He could play edge, and I would just let him be an athlete. Get your ears down the field, pin those ears back, get after the quarterback. But with that size, the speed, the strength, the football IQ, he's got a lot of really, really good traits that teams are going to cover because if you can't get after the quarterback, it don't matter. I don't want to say Will Anderson, but there are a lot of things that Arvell Reese does that reminds me of Will Anderson. That first step, I don't know if there's a better first step right now in the NFL than Will. And if you're looking at what he's done for the Houston Texans, I don't know how you don't look at that defense right now and go, can I get a guy like that? Arvell Reese might be that type of player. And again, 6'4", 243 pounds. And no doubt he's on an unbelievably talented Ohio State Buckeyes defense. And there's going to be some people out there, well, wait a minute, Mitch. What about Caleb Downs? I love the talent of Caleb Downs. But for where the Raiders are at, you can't take a safety in the top 2. It would be like taking a running back with no offensive line in the first round. Not saying he's not an incredible talent, but to me, there's only 2 players on defense that you can consider, and both of those guys got to be able to go out and get after the quarterback. As much as I like Rueben Bain, as much as I like Arvell Reese, if you're the Raiders, you got to either go Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, or you can go this route, and you can end up trading back because to me, you have 5 options. I really think you really only have 3 options if you're the Raiders. You could say you got 5 if you want to throw in Arvell and you want to throw in Ruben. But if you are the new head coach of the Silver and Black and you're sitting there with Tom Brady and John Spytek, they look at you and they go, how many people should be on our big board for the number 1 overall pick? It better look like Fernando Mendoza, it better look like Dante Moore, and it better look like trading back in the NFL draft because quarterback scarcity is going to drive up that number 1 pick price. When you look at a lot of the free agent QBs, people are saying, hey, it's going to be Daniel Jones. He ain't going to play this year, at least I don't think he's going to play this year. Malik Willis is out there. Sure, there's a little bit stuff going on right now with Lamar Jackson, but if you're going to trade for Lamar Jackson, I think that's going to cost you 2 to 3 first-round picks, and his cap hit the next 2 seasons is $74.5 million. Not a lot of teams can afford that. So because we know quarterback is a very important position, and there are a lot of teams, Jets, Cardinals, fighting for that QB position, if you're the Raiders and you're sitting there at number 1, and a team goes, what do you want for the number 1 overall pick? It better start with 3 first-round picks. If it don't start with 3 first-round picks, you hang up the phone and you say, give me an actual offer. I would actually maybe even want 4 because this team has got a lot of roster holes. So I'm going to ask you a very, very important question. With the Raiders locking in a top 2 pick in the NFL draft, what should the Silver and Black do? Do you go Fernando Mendoza? Do you go Dante Moore? Rueben Bain Jr., Arvell Reese, or trade back? Please let me know down in the comments section. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say.